testimony to members of Congress leading an impeachment inquiry into the U.S. president. Marie Yovanovitch says she was removed from her post because of unfounded and false claims. The inquiry is investigating if Trump tried to pressure Ukraine's leader to dig up dirt on his Democratic rival, Joe Biden. Well, Shihab Rattansi is live for us on Capitol Hill with more on this story. So, Shihab, tell us more about what Marie Yovanovitch has been saying.
She's been speaking for about 4 hours now or so, and we had almost immediately, as soon as she sat down, her initial statement to the members of Congress who were speaking to her was leaked almost immediately to the media. And that's where we see this very impassioned defense of her own conduct and a very sort of sad assessment of the state of international diplomacy, of a State Department that she says is being hollowed out from within under the Trump administration. First, to her defense of herself, she says, yes, it was Donald Trump who had pretty much spearheaded a campaign against her for almost a year before she was finally recalled a little bit earlier. She was an Obama appointee to the position of ambassador to Ukraine. And she said she was incredulous that all of these stories were circulating around her, and they were in Republican circles, that she was undermining Donald Trump, that she was somehow favorable to the Democrats, she was blocking investigations into corruption in Ukraine, that she'd helped the Clinton campaign. She says all of that's untrue. She defends herself against all these allegations, and she says that, and when she goes after Rudy Giuliani in particular, Donald Trump's personal lawyer, who is accused by members of Congress of having some sort of shadow foreign policy in Ukraine, bypassing norms. And she says that those associated with Mr. Giuliani may well have believed that their personal ambitions may be stymied by our anti-corruption policy. And that's why he was in particular going after her. So this is a defense saying she has done nothing wrong, that everything that's been said about her is wrong. But then she starts talking about the State Department, and this is the key area, I suppose. She says that harm will come when private interests circumvent professional diplomats for their own direct gain. She is suggesting that there is something very rotten at the heart of the State Department right now under President Trump, and something needs to be done very quickly. What we haven't had leaked yet are those key questions. I mean, in some ways, we knew she was pretty disgruntled. We knew that there was a campaign against her. What we don't have are her opinions on whether Donald Trump's actions in trying to get information about Joe Biden and the son Hunter Biden, in trying to get information about the origins of the Russiagate scandal which was investigated by Mueller, whether anything Donald Trump has done as far as she's concerned leads to some sort of impeachable offense, that he's abusing his office. We don't know yet what her opinions are on that. That will be to come when this deposition breaks up.
Yeah, I mean, pretty damning testimony now anyway. What reaction from the White House, either now or even when they found out that she was going to give this testimony?
We've had it confirmed now that they did not want her to testify, and so the chairs of the three House committees that are leading this subpoenaed her late last night, Washington time. So that's why she came. The reason that's really interesting is earlier this week we had that letter sent from the White House to Congress saying we are not going to cooperate in any way with your impeachment investigation. But now we understand what that means in reality, in practical terms. And that would mean, apparently, that they're not going to cooperate for voluntary interviews and things like that. They will try and stop their officials from the administration from taking part. However, it would seem from this example that if a subpoena comes, then people will be allowed to testify. And that's interesting too, because just before the former ambassador began her testimony, the current EU ambassador, Donald Trump's current EU ambassador, made it clear through his lawyer that he will testify later on this week. And he had actually earlier on in this week had been refused the permission to testify, but he's been subpoenaed now, and he's going to do that. And his lawyer made it clear that the State Department still didn't want him to testify, but the subpoena means he will testify. And he's very much someone actually who Donald Trump supporters kind of want to testify, because he's very much Donald Trump's man in the EU and in the Ukraine, it would appear. So they kind of want him to testify, but it appears going forward in this impeachment inquiry process, if a subpoena is received, officials will testify.
Shihab Rattansi with the latest there from Capitol Hill. Shihab, thank you. Hundreds more indigenous protesters have poured into Ecuador's capital from the Amazon to join the 10th day of demonstrations against the government's austerity measures. Thousands of people have taken to the streets of Quito to demand President Lenín Moreno repeal